Alright everyone, what's up? So we are going to wrap up the series about shoulder pain and kipping pull-ups, and we're going to really kind of touch base on two types of pull-ups, the traditional gymnastic kip as well as the butterfly pull-up, and a common theme that will lead to shoulder pain with both of those variations, assuming you've checked the box for you have overhead mobility like we already talked about, so that's the clearing test in prone with the PVC pipe. Also, you understand the concept of broken shapes, how your lats turn on or off and how well they work based on the position you're in, and that you also have some requisite strength to even be up on the bar and attempting the kip. We talked about that dynamically with the Turkish get-up, but also assuming that you have some strict pull-up capability, meaning your shoulders have the strength to safely try some of these gymnastic movements. So what we're going to look at first is really the common theme. Usually what's going on when they get on the pull-up bar and still have an issue is the idea of a broken shape. They fall from their height into an arch, their elbows aren't talking to each other anymore, and they land on that passive shoulder. So you're not going to be able to activate your lats in that poor shape or that compromised position, or you're going to be substantially limited on how well your lats work. Over time, over reps, that will lead to a problem. So really, the idea of the broken shape, and with the gymnastic kip, what we'll look at to start, you really see that in when people's arch blows apart, meaning they lose midline stabilization, and we'll look at a drill to how we can maybe correct that. So looking at an arch or a beat swing that loses stabilization looks something like this. I'll come here, and my legs are blowing apart, right? So there I'm swinging into a passive shoulder. We want to tighten that up a little bit. A good way to train that out if that's an issue is using one of the fluffy clouds and practice not turned this way but lengthwise, pinching it between your legs, inserting that into a beat swing, then eventually a pull-up. Here's what that would look like in progression. So pinch the fluffy cloud together. We've got a beat swing going. And then I can try turning that into a pull-up without a loss of midline stabilization. So next on the list would be the more complicated gymnastic movements, which is the butterfly pull-up. And it's really the same fault. You'll see a fall onto passive shoulders. One thing that can be tricky for that transition is with the kipping pull-up, typically your elbows are back more and you're pulling yourself into the bar. With the butterfly pull-up, you've really got a big swing and you're more pulling yourself straight up instead of into the bar, and you're keeping your elbows in front of you. So that's one thing to think about for that butterfly kip, elbows in front the whole time, not pulling yourself into the bar. And when people take that habit into their butterfly pull-up, that's when they have to then dive under the bar in this exaggerated shape. The drill I like best for that is the banded butterfly pull-up. It does a couple things for us. It decelerates the fall from height into arch. It also, the band being in front of us, like you'll see here in a second, it tightens up our gymnastic shape in our circle, so we're not pulling through in such a broken shape, which allows us to land on active shoulders, and it really promotes that elbows in front versus elbows pulled back. This is what it looks like. Take my standard green band, and instead of looping it through like so, I'll put a couple wraps on it because I actually want to shorten it up a little bit. So 2 to 3 wraps, depending on the athlete. And then I will loop it through and have a shorter band. From there, I'm going to wear it like a harness. So I'll put the far side in. And then reach through. From here, I'll hang on my bar, and now I really have this band to keep me from an exaggerated shape. So again, cleaning up the broken shapes in both of those pull-up variations is how you can keep your shoulders not just active but safe. You'll be more efficient with your gymnastic shapes, and you'll be less likely to have shoulder issues and pain. So, depending on what version of pull-ups you use, chest to bar is a little bit of variation on this, but we're not going to complicate that right now. Just practice both of those variations wherever you're at, whatever you've been working on, and see how those help you, and then give us some feedback.